Most places you pitch are going to have time set aside for questions and answers. Now, this may not be true if you're up on stage at a demo day or at Ignite or something like that, where you just get up and you talk and you walk off. But in most cases, you're expected to have the audience interact with you asking questions. So right after the last slide about the ask, you put another slide. It looks like the title slide, company name, but it really asks, are there any questions? Then you sit on that slide as the Q&A goes on. Now keep in mind that the pitch does not end on this slide. The pitch is inclusive of all those questions and answers. So to prepare for the Q&A, what you're going to do is you're going to pitch to audiences and you're going to write down every question they ask you. Right? You're going to also, if you have a team member, write down the answer that you provided, and you're going to iterate on those as well. Right? You're going to be prepared for the Q&A as you are for the rest of the pitch. Now, when the Q&A winds down, sometimes that's based on time and sometimes it just peters out. Well, then you're going to flip to the next slide in the deck. And in this slide, you're going to, again, kind of reiterate the ask and talk about the next steps that need to happen. So if you're sitting down with a single angel, well, that just might be contact information. You're going to promise them to send them a copy of this deck. You're going to promise them to send them your executive summary and so forth. If you're in an angel group, well, they may already have a time scheduled for due diligence. You might as well put that up on the screen to try and get more people to show up. In some cases, I've seen a little bit more contrived atmosphere, like a business plan competition. Somebody holds up a paddle, they say you're all done, they expect you to walk off. Well, if that's the best you got, that's the best you got. But in most cases, in the normal case, you have a bit more control. And in that control, you're going to end on next steps. And then when you're totally done with that, you're going to close down the show. You're going to have one last thank you slide. It's going to look again like your title slide, except it's going to say the words thank you. And it's going to have your contact information. So one of my pet peeves, one of the things I've seen, biggest mistake I've seen over and over again, is that people will simply say thank you in a really low voice and disappear. Well, no. Your pitch ends when you walk off the stage. You want to end with a bang. You want to end making sure that that audience remembers who you are. I'll show you how to do this later, but in short, it's really just thanking them for having you there, restating your name, restating the company name, and pointing out the fact that your contact information is there on the screen if they have any more questions to ask. But that's not all. So if you were preparing for your Q&A, you know what questions are going to be asked, right? You've practiced this with many people and you know more or less what questions might be asked. So what you're going to do is you're going to create a slide or two or three to answer each question, and you're going to put that in the appendix after the thank you slide. Now, what's really impressive is when someone asks a question and you or your teammate walks over to the computer, taps in a few buttons, presses enter, and up pops the answer. Now, you may not even know PowerPoint can do this. Maybe Keynote can't, don't know. But in PowerPoint, if you type in the slide number and hit enter, that slide will pop up. So what you do is you create a cheat sheet, a little slip of paper that's sitting there on the computer, and it says slide 19, financial details, slide 20, technical details, and so forth. And so when someone asks you a question and you need to go deeper on financials, you just go 19, enter, and up pops most of the answer on the screen. It makes you look incredibly well prepared. It makes your depth of knowledge look incredible. It makes you look professional. As much as you can, have all those answers all set up. And when you're sharing this slide deck, you don't have to share those. You may choose to, you may not to, but when someone says, can I have a copy of that deck? You can just send them the slides between title slide and the ending slide. You take out the one that says, do you have any questions, and so forth. It doesn't have to be exactly the same slide deck as you presented to them.